Elon Musk is about to shake up politics in a way you never expected. From backing high-profile campaigns to proposing a radical government overhaul, his game-changing plans could either revolutionize America or crash and burn. What's really behind his vision? In this video, we'll uncover the surprising details, the controversies, and what this could mean for the future of the U.S. Stick around, you won't believe your ears. In a surprising twist in U.S. politics, Donald Trump clinched the presidency, and right in the spotlight was none other than Elon Musk.
Basically, we're on a path to bankruptcy. America's on a path to bankruptcy. So we have to cut government spending, or we're just going to go bankrupt, just like a person would.
Known for his disruptive approach, Musk emerged as one of Trump's top backers, shelling out over $100 million to fuel the campaign. But his involvement goes beyond just funding. Word on the street is that he's set to play a hands-on role in the new administration. If you've been scrolling through social media lately, you've likely seen memes pairing Trump, UFC icon Dana White, and Musk, cheekily labeling them America's new CEO, CMO, and CTO. With his penchant for shaking things up, it looks like Musk might just be the game-changer needed to streamline government efficiency.
At the suggestion of Elon Musk, I will create a government efficiency commission tasked with conducting a complete financial and performance audit of the entire federal government and making recommendations for drastic reforms. And Elon, because he's not very busy, has agreed to head that task force.
What's Elon Musk's actual role in all of this? Is he the efficiency wizard we've been waiting for, or just another potential conflict of interest? The buzz is that Musk is leading what he calls the Department of Government Efficiency, affectionately dubbed DOGE. His stated mission? To slash the bureaucratic waste and inefficiencies choking government operations. From what we know, his strategy boils down to two key objectives. First, shrinking the ballooning government deficit, and second, easing up on burdensome regulations. Let's break down the deficit issue. Picture the government like your personal bank account. You've got income and expenses. When you consistently spend more than you earn, you're forced to borrow money, much like taking out a loan for that new car you can't afford outright. Since the early 2000s, the U.S. has been in perpetual overdraft. For example, during the 2024, the government raked in roughly $4.92 trillion in revenue, but burned through about $6.75 trillion in expenses. This chronic shortfall means the government has to issue bonds, essentially IOUs sold to investors, with the promise of being paid back later, plus interest. And here's the catch. As the national debt grows, so does the interest payment on those bonds, which only deepens the deficit. With rising interest rates, refinancing that debt becomes a vicious cycle. Essentially, when the government can't fully pay off maturing debts, it borrows even more, causing the interest burden to snowball over time.
I mean, the idea is pretty simple, is that we've got this suffocating, massive federal bureaucracy. Government spending is like bankrupting the country. Our interest payments on the national debt now exceed the Defense Department budget. The Defense Department budget is like $1 trillion a year. 23% of all government income taxes, tariffs, and everything is just going to pay interest right now. And that number is continually rising. So if we don't do something, the entire government budget will be paying interest. There won't be money for anything. No, there won't be money for Social Security. There won't be money for Medicare, nothing. That's where we're headed. It's like, hello, wake up. Wake up. So we have to cut government spending, or we're just going to go bankrupt, just like a person would if that overspends.
His plan? To break the cycle by positioning the U.S. in a place where it doesn't need to take on more debt. That means either boosting revenue or cutting costs. To hit that target, Musk plans to punch through government waste. And with his experience running companies like SpaceX and Tesla, he's no stranger to eliminating inefficiencies. At Tesla, he streamlined operations to cut supply chain costs and boost profitability, all while improving customer affordability. Also, SpaceX, similarly, is an example of optimization, where each new tech step reduces costs, whether it's to save weight on rockets or land them with precision using robotic arms. Then there's Twitter, where Musk slashed a whopping 80% of the workforce but still kept the platform running. As for his government role, Musk has discussed trimming and consolidating agencies to cut down operational costs and untangle regulatory red tape. The goal is simple: less waste, less bureaucracy, and overall better efficiency. Elon is increasingly alarmed by the mounting deficit. He sees how refinancing government debt at ever higher interest rates is set to balloon the nation's interest expenses. His plan is straightforward: get the U.S. to a point where, year after year, it no longer needs to borrow extra funds. That means America must either ramp up its revenue or cut spending sharply enough to erase the deficit and swing into a surplus. In his role as head of government efficiency, Elon aims to tackle this challenge head-on by slashing wasteful expenditures across the board. All these experiences feed into his vision for government: leaner, smarter, and far more efficient operations. Musk has been vocal about his plan to overhaul government agencies, either by consolidating overlapping roles or eliminating redundant ones. He's even suggested cutting the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, calling it an unnecessary regulator. Plus, he wants to slash the number of federal agencies from over 400 to under 100 to simplify the bureaucracy. The ultimate goal? Lower operating costs and untangle the bureaucratic maze that too often stifles America's progress.
Spending money on all these these government agencies, and I actually asked the AI how many government agencies are there, and the government isn't even sure how many government agencies there are. So it's somewhere around 450, depending on what you call an agency, at the federal level. So that's almost twice as many agencies as years that America has existed. So we're creating agencies at roughly 2 agencies a year.
Wow.
Yes, this is crazy. So we've got this vast, suffocating federal bureaucracy that just gets bigger every year. And eventually you get to the point where everything is illegal. You can't get anything done.
This is where Musk's take on government reform starts to get a bit nuanced, and for many, decidedly political. While most people can get behind the idea of fixing the deficit, diving into deregulation is a whole different ballgame, with staunch supporters on one side and fierce critics on the other. Musk has been very vocal about his disdain for what he sees as excessive regulation in the U.S., often using a football field analogy to drive his point home. He argues that the game runs best with just 1, 2, maybe 3 referees on the field, enough to enforce the rules without stifling the play. But if you crowd the field with 200 referees, there's hardly any room left for the players to make a move. That's the picture Musk paints of America's current regulatory landscape, a system so overburdened with oversight that it chokes the very freedom it's meant to protect. Musk's deregulation push is not without its complications. While it's true that excessive regulation can stifle innovation, critics argue that many rules serve crucial purposes, like ensuring safety, protecting the environment, and safeguarding consumer rights. Take, for instance, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, NHTSA, which sets vehicle safety standards like seatbelts, airbags, and crash tests. Loosening these regulations could incentivize automakers to cut corners to save money, potentially putting the public at risk. Simplifying regulations has clear benefits, but removing important ones could create dangerous gaps in protection. Then there's the issue of job loss. Streamlining the government likely means cutting back on some agencies, which could result in mass layoffs. Losing a job is a harsh reality for many, and it's understandable why this idea raises concerns. Musk, for his part, has said he doesn't want to cause anyone financial hardship through his reforms, but the truth remains that job loss could be an unfortunate side effect. Musk has serious financial stakes in companies like Tesla and SpaceX, so if he were to be in charge of deregulation, many question whether he could objectively influence policies that would benefit his businesses. It's not a question of his personal integrity. It's about the risks companies face when government policy changes in favor of vested interests. In the end, the idea of deregulation has both pros and cons. On the one hand, it could help streamline the government, foster innovation, and reduce inefficiencies. On the other hand, there are real concerns about the safety, environmental impact, job consequences, and conflict of interest. While there's hope for what Musk's role could achieve, Only time will tell if this delicate balance can actually work out for the country's benefit. Perhaps the biggest concern, however, is the conflict of interest. With Musk's own companies, Tesla and SpaceX, standing to benefit from a lighter regulatory touch, his role in steering these changes raises legitimate questions. Could his influence over deregulation tilt policies in favor of his business interests rather than the public good? This isn't a criticism of Musk's character, but rather a reminder of the inherent risks when personal stakes are involved in shaping government policy. Ultimately, while the promise of a leaner, more efficient government is enticing, we must carefully weigh those potential gains against the risks. It's a tricky balancing act, and only time will tell if this bold gamble will pay off for America's future. Elon Musk's potential government role could redefine America's future, bold, disruptive, and controversial. Are his ideas a game changer or a risky gamble? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and if you want more cutting-edge analysis, don't forget to hit subscribe. Thanks for tuning in. You won't want to miss what's next.